Hi friends, this video is going to be a first impression, a review, and a wear test on the Merit Minimalist Perfecting Complexion Foundation Stick. I'm really excited to try this. I have drier skin and I tend to shy away from foundation sticks. I find that when I have tried them in the past, as the day progressed, I would get some patchiness on my chin, some dry patches, some redness coming through and in the middle of my forehead here. So I tend to shy away from them, but I heard such great things about this particular foundation, so I thought, let me give it a try and see if it will work for me. I will use this as concealer as well today, so it'll be kind of like a two-in-one concealer and foundation. So I'm curious to see how this performs. Now, enough chit chat, let's get into the video. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this foundation stick. It is a light to medium coverage. It is buildable. It's lightweight and can be used as foundation or a concealer. And they do say on the website that if you choose a shade that is 3 shades deeper, you can actually use it as a contour stick. This product is vegan, gluten-free, fragrance-free, and cruelty-free. It has a natural finish, which is really lovely, and it costs 49 Canadian dollars or 38 US dollars at Sephora. It has 20 different shades, and I chose the shade Silk. When it comes to the packaging, it comes in this dark gray stick that looks super sleek with the brand's name written in gold. It's made from 43% recycled plastic. I love that this foundation is really easy to travel with and carry in your purse or when you're actually traveling. And lastly, this foundation comes with 0.23 ounces of product or 6.5 grams. On their website, they say that you can apply this 3 different ways: with your fingers, with a brush, or with a beauty sponge. Today, I'm going to use 2 of those methods just to see ease of application and blendability and just overall look of it between a beauty blender and a brush. So I'll do half of my face with the beauty blender and the other half with the brush so we can see the difference. I have my beauty sponge right here. It's a beauty blender. So this one has had better days. I just washed it, but I feel like it's on its last leg. So this I will have to replace soon, but we'll use it today. So it's ready, damp, good to go. And then I have my foundation brush right here. So this is a Morphe foundation brush. So I will use this on one side of my face just to see how it applies and distributes the foundation. I feel like this foundation, if you have dry patches on your face, you really have to moisturize ahead of time just to make sure that your skin is really prepped for this, only because I feel like it's not forgiving. So I have not used this yet. This is my first time using it. I have tested out in the store just to find a match. I don't know if this is the right shade for me. It looked right in the store, but it's gonna be a surprise today. Let's begin. So let's start with this side. And again, I don't know if this is going to be a good match. So, and I'll use it as concealer as well. I think I might have put a lot on. Not sure. I feel like this could be a 2-in-1 type of foundation. I mean, I think all foundation can be used as concealer and foundation. That's just my humble opinion. My non-professional opinion. Okay, so keep in mind, when using a beauty sponge or a beauty blender, you are absorbing some of the product. So you're not getting the true coverage from a foundation because it does absorb some of the product. But here we are. This is half of my face. I think I need a little bit more around my nose. Oh. Okay, so it does feel really nice when I drag it across my face. It feels so smooth and so creamy. So this is this side of my face with the foundation. This side I have not put anything yet. My nose is usually a bit more red, but I think this is a very nice light coverage so far versus nothing. So let's do the other side with the brush. And when using a brush, I try not to drag it. I like to just pat the product into my skin because you're not moving it around too much. You're just pressing it into the skin. And especially if you have like drier skin and you get dry patches, the stippling motion actually helps with not disturbing those dry patches too much. I can definitely see a bit of a difference between the brush and the beauty sponge application methods. I think this side of my face, more of my skin comes through. It's more of a lighter coverage, whereas on this side of my face, I find that it is a medium-ish coverage. I feel like I got better coverage just because when you use a brush, the brush isn't really absorbing the product versus a beauty sponge that will be soaking up some of that product. But I do love the way it looks. I feel like I have nothing on my skin right now. It feels really nice. And it just felt really creamy and it was so easy to blend. So I'm quite impressed. But I think out of the two methods, I definitely prefer the brush method just because I'm getting more out of the foundation versus the beauty sponge where the coverage is a little light. So I'm absorbing a little too much of the product. But this was a really nice application method with the brush. It does look really nice. I'm getting a nice amount of coverage. Let's see if we can build it up a bit on the side with the beauty sponge. We'll just add a little bit more just to see what that's going to look like. And again, if you want more coverage and you're using a beauty sponge, you're kind of wasting some of the product. So that's why I'm saying if you can use a brush or your fingers, you'll be saving product, so you won't be using as much. Here we are. So now I feel like I'm closer to the coverage I have on this side. So I did have to use more product to get the same coverage when using the beauty sponge, but I'm really loving how easily this just melts into the skin. It just, like butter, like butter. I'm going to do the rest of my makeup. I don't think I'm going to set this with powder. I generally don't set the foundations with powder when I do like a first impression or review because I want to see how the foundation lasts on its own. So I don't think I'll set it with powder. I will not add any concealer. I just want to see how this foundation does on its own throughout the day. And I have to say the coverage under the eyes is not bad. I do like the coverage under the eyes a little better with the brush, obviously, but it's not bad at all. I'm really, really, really liking it so far. So makeup is done. I didn't set it with powder and I didn't put any concealer on. As I mentioned, I wanted to see how this does on its own. And I have to say, even when I was putting the rest of my makeup on, my skin felt really nice and moisturized. Just the foundation seems like it adds a nice layer of moisture to the skin, and my skin just feels like I have nothing on. It just feels really light. It's lovely. So I just have some bronzer, some blush, I did my eye makeup, and I put some lipstick on. So this is what it looks like right now, my skin. The foundation still looks really good. It's only been 20 minutes since I applied it, but it looks really nice right now. It feels really good, and I'm really loving it. I probably, if it's a hot day, would set this with powder. I didn't think I would need to, but if it was a hot day and I was going out, I would need to set it with powder. But for today, we're just gonna see how it does on its own. I'll check in with you guys in a bit. Okay, so first check-in, it has been about 3 hours or so since I applied it, and it's still looking really good. Like, it hasn't moved. It still looks really good. The coverage is still great. I am really loving it. Still feels lightweight. My skin's not getting greasy or oily in any areas. So I'm really loving it so far. So it's been about 6 hours since applying the foundation, and I am getting a little bit of creasing here, but just a touch, and I'm noticing a bit of redness coming through on my chin, like the foundation's moved a little bit, but it's nothing major, like it's not super noticeable, but I'm just being super picky about it. So I'm noticing a little bit. So I thought, let's reapply a little bit here and just see how this does. And I'll also put a little bit in the corner of my eye, and it blends so nicely even with my finger. Like, look at that, look at that. It's looking refreshed and ready to go. I'm just going to blend this out a little bit here where it creased. And I'll just add a little bit, I mean, since we're doing things. And what I love, because I'll be able to carry this around with me, you can just, you're out and about and you're finished work and you're going to dinner, you can just take this out and refresh your makeup wherever you need. And it seems to be going on and blending in just beautifully. Look at that. Let's check in. It's been, I think, 8 or 9 hours since I put it on. Other than, you know, the little bit of it moving and the redness coming through my chin, with once I reapplied, it is looking glorious. All day, it has lasted beautifully. I did yoga. I didn't really do a sweaty workout, but I did a little bit of yoga, and I did stuff around the house, went outside for a little bit, had some errands to do, and it's staying put, it stayed on. But here we are, all done and ready to take this off. So still feels like I have nothing on. Super impressed. So now for my rating system when it comes to foundations. Just like for moisturizers, if you've seen my other videos, I have a rating system that I use for foundations, and it's 3 categories, each 1 out of 5. Let's get into the first category. First category, does the foundation blend well into the skin? And I gave this a 5 out of 5. This foundation blends like butter into the skin. It goes on really nicely, it glides easily. And the fact that I could blend it out in 3 different methods, either with your fingers, a beauty sponge, or a brush. I love that about it. And considering I used 2 methods for this one, which is the brush and the beauty blender, and they both worked really nicely and the foundation just melted into the skin, I absolutely loved it. So 5 out of 5. Second category is the foundation buildable, and I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. The foundation is buildable, and I noticed that when I applied it on this side, I applied a second coat or a second layer on this side where I used the beauty sponge. It is buildable, but I found that a little bit of it started to crease as the day went on, especially here. I noticed in my smile lines, I noticed a bit of creasing. But again, anytime you have any fine lines or just lines on your face, you will get a bit of creasing. So that's why I dinged this one a little bit, but still very buildable. I was really impressed with this. 4.5 out of 5, just a little bit of creasing throughout the day. Third category, how does the foundation dry onto the skin and how does it wear? And I gave this a 4.8 out of 5. Really loved it. There was just a little bit of creasing throughout the day, and it did move a little bit and wear off just because it is a hot day today. So I did reapply, and when I reapplied, I love that you can just reapply on top of your makeup, and it just refreshes the look of the foundation and the look of your skin, and it just makes you look new again, as if you just did your makeup. So really appreciated that. But because of the creasing, I did ding it a little bit, and because it did kind of move a little bit. But other than that, 4.8 out of 5, absolutely impressed with this foundation. So final thoughts. I would absolutely repurchase this foundation again. I have an upcoming trip, and instead of bringing like a foundation and concealer, I'm just gonna bring this, and this will be my foundation and concealer for my trip. So I'm really excited. It's so small and compact and easy to carry. But what I loved about it is it felt really lightweight. It blended really nicely, and it just gave my skin really nice coverage while still letting my skin look like skin. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments if there's any other videos you'd like me to make or products you'd like me to review. I truly love hearing from you guys. Thank you again so much, and I'll see you next time.